Hi everyone and welcome in the second part of this video. Just so you know, it was recorded last week. I just cut it in half and put the second part this week. In this video, we're gonna learn how to organize a workflow, how to make readable for you, but also for your teammates if you're working as a team, if you're sharing your workflow with your friends or even online. It's gonna show you more tricks and tips on how to use ComfyUI in a more professional way in order to make sure that whenever you do a workflow, you can keep track of what's going on it, but also if you come on it later on, like let's say you work on something for a few days and you come back on it next month, you still understand what's going on and it's just not like a bunch of spaghettis going on everywhere. So I hope you're gonna enjoy this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and learn, and let's dive into it. So as you can see here, it started already to be a little bit crazy. It started to be a little bit everywhere, and I maybe don't want to have this crazy stuff. So what we can do is, look, we know the value, I'm not gonna touch it. We always gonna stay here. So in this case, you can click on this little button here to minify it, or you can just press Alt-C to minify it or maximize it. We know we're not gonna touch it anymore, so I don't need to see the whole node. Same with the load clip and same with the diffusion model. Now what I like to do is have everything on one side together. So we're gonna drag the VAI and put it next to the clip and like this, and you can press shift in the same time that you're dragging a node in order to kind of make it stick to a certain grid. You can then press Control and drag your mouse around to select multiple nodes together, and we're gonna drag them there. Now you're gonna tell me, okay, cool, but now we have like those splines going all over the screen. It's less cool than before. That's true, but what we can do is set variables. So in this case, what we can do is do this. So Alt-C to maximize, right click, set nodes. That's gonna create a constant variable. So we're gonna call it VAI. We're gonna connect the VAI to this variable that we created. We're gonna Alt-C both of them. I'm gonna just put it back. And now what we can do is here at the VAI decode, do right click, add get node, VAI, and then you connect this to that. And now we have one line less that go all across the screen. You know that we're getting the VAI there and it's put there. I'm gonna do the same with all the different kind of things. So I'm gonna put the model. And why I prefer to do that personally, again, this is the way I create my workflow, is mainly because then I can create a very logical process of how the workflow goes through. So here I put clip, here I put model. And so now our model loading is here and we know it's contained within those three nodes. And what I can do is I can create a group. So right click, add group, and I call it model loader. And now we know over here we got our model loader. Now here we can do this. So the reason I'm putting the group over here and resizing it is because ComfyUI is not really smart when it comes to group management. So if I do that, you see everything is moving and it is not great. So you basically want to first create the size of the group perfectly, kind of, and then resize it slowly. This we're not gonna touch. Another thing I'm gonna show you, that here we're gonna do image upscaling. Now, if you wanted to be completely picky, you could also create here a variable generated image. You really have no connection that's going through this. Why now this is cool is because we can also use now another node which is called fast group bypasser. So you search group fast group bypasser. By the way, you might not have this node showing up. If you do not have it showing up, then you need RG3. So you go into the custom node manager and then you write RG3 and you install that node. It should be ComfyUI. And then here, the beauty of this specific node is that it gives you the ability to disconnect specific nodes automatically. So if I don't want my upscaling, enable image upscaling, no. And here I don't have the upscaling anymore. Maybe I don't want the image generation, I just want the upscaling. So like, it gives you a better control over the whole thing. And here we can already start to see our workflow start to be like much more understandable and visually more appealing. Also, if I were to share that workflow directly with you, then you will understand a little bit better. Okay, this is where we load the model, this is the image generation, this is the image upscaling. It's much better when you work with a team as well. Note that you can do variables on almost everything. So for example, the empty latent image, we can see that we have the width and height, which means that if I wanted to change the width and height of the image, I will still always need to go on the empty latent image and then do Alt-C and do this. But what you can do is you can also create, so double click, you can do int, and you can also double click on the node and name it width, and then you can press Alt and drag to copy the node and duplicate it and call it height. And then I'm gonna do 24, 24, and we're gonna create those set nodes. So we got width. And here, see, you can connect like this. And here we can just resize those two or just minimize it because you don't need them for now, and then you can just maximize it later. And you can do this with literally everything, basically. You can do this with the case sampler details if you wanted to. You can do whatever. You can create a new group here and that says parameters of the image generation or whatever. You have the full control of every part of your workflow. Now, the last things I want to touch base on is you can, beside using the fast group bypasser node, you can also bypass specific node. So if I wanted to just bypass this manually, I can select, for example, the preview image here and do Control B, and that will bypass the node. And another interesting thing is the creation of subgraphs. So the subgraphing allows you to take some part of your workflow and make it in a sub workflow. I'll show you what it means. For example, for the upscaling, we might want it to be a subgraph. So we're gonna take this and I click here, convert to subgraph. And here we can see that those three nodes became a subgraph. The seed now is a parameter that we can change, but we're feeding it automatically the image. And here, if I click on this little icon, it's gonna enter in that subgraph and we're gonna see what the subgraph is doing. You can just click here on the top left and save workflow and you get back to the thing. So it's basically a way for you to concatenate some part of your workflow. It's also, again, just a question of visibility and readability of your workflow, go faster. And obviously, if you double click here, you can do upscaling process. And now you know that within the image upscaling, you have the get generated image that go into your upscaling process and it gives you an output of an image. And if you want to see the upscaling process, you go into it and boom, you have it. And then you do Control S to save your workflow. And here you go. And when you want to access your workflow, you can just click on workflow here and you have all the workflow you want that you have saved. You can name it, you can rename it. So here you go for the second part of the video. Now you know how to organize your workflow correctly. I hope you liked it. I hope you learned a few things. Especially the subgraph is really cool when you start to get like very huge amount of different nodes on your workflow. You can just concatenate them and have them do their things and just input them. Anyway, please comment, give me feedbacks, and help me make better videos. I don't know yet what the next video will be about. Obviously, it will be about ComfyUI, but I don't know exactly what we'll do together. Maybe in painting or out painting, something like that. So I'll teach you how to edit an image, an existing image. And yeah, that will be next week. So I wish you a good week or whatever, and I'll see you next time.